Okay. Um, I think I'm super excited to be here with you guys. It's of course today's the 15th day of May, year 2023, and of course you are welcome to Baba Wise TV. If you are joining me anywhere in the world, this is of course the first time I'll be coming live, and I'm quite excited to be before you today. So if you are just coming across this channel for the first time, our advice, I'm pleading, no, it shouldn't be an advice, it should be a plea anyways. I'm pleading that you like and you subscribe to this channel, because of course interesting topics of this kind will be coming up almost every time. So what do we have for ourselves today? If you can read the headline, then you can always see, you already know what we will be discussing today. The assault case of Seun and Kuti, the son of the late legendary musician and activist Fela Nicola Kuti. So what actually happened? This won't be a very long blog. It's not going to be all that long. I'm going to make it a little bit short so that so that we can move on with other things, because of even aside that there is no much information that we have for now on the case, and that is why we are not going to take much of our time. So the case that the topic we'll be discussing today, you can already see it in the title over there, the assault case of Femi Nicola Kokuti. And before I go further, let me quickly do an introduction of myself. I am Enito Shitu, so and I'm going to be the host most of the times on this platform. So welcome. Please don't forget to subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, anytime I'll be coming here and I'll be giving out freebies, definitely you won't be part of those that would have access to it. So it is only when you subscribe to this channel you can always be aware and set your notification, of course, whenever I have something for you, so you can actually be notified. So Seun and Nicola Kokuti, what actually happened? um Day before yesterday, we had it was viral news that he assaulted a police officer, and immediately the news broke, we everybody was like, this guy looks like somebody, to me it looks like somebody who is very cultured, owing to the fact that he did not study in Nigeria, he studied in the UK, and as a result of that, uh, much is expected of him, because owing to the fact that you look at the environment where he's coming from is coming from a civilized environment, and as a result of that, we all expect him to be civil. We expect him to be civilized with everything is going, all his endeavors. So the news broke that he assaulted a police officer. It is not just the news. There was also a short clip, I think about 11 seconds or thereabouts, 11 seconds or thereabouts of him slapping the police officer and also charging him. So what do we have? The IGP has actually instructed his arrest, and as of today, he has actually turned himself in, and I think that's a good one for him. Earlier before then, I think he did a broadcast. I don't know the source where he used, but I think he did a broadcast. I think WhatsApp or somewhat, where he said the police officer in question threatened his life and that of his family. So, and according to him, he said those who are for that, that the guy wouldn't lose his job. And now the IGP has actually been aware, and he was asked, the IGP asked that instructed that it wasn't a question. It was asked. It was instructed that he should be arrested. And as of today, Seun Kuti has turned himself in, and of course, the pictures are also there online, and you can see him on cuffs and all of that. So, what do we make of this? Um, because it's a big name, it's in the news, and everybody will be like, yes, I think it's some. We have already been seeing speculations that he's going to go to jail for this, he's going to go to jail for that. But what do we have in the side of the law? First, we need to understand that any case that has to do with assault will be treated as such, whether the person in question is a law enforcement agency or not. Although the police may take it a little bit personal because of the fact that because the man was on uniform, and he is a law enforcement agency, and in the course of duty he was actually assaulted. So what do we okay so what do we make of this whole story? I think what So the question is, what are my personal prediction as what will happen to Seun Kuti uh, being in the custody of the Nigerian police force? Uh, in the first instance, in the next few days, we should expect that he will be charged to court, and if he's charged to court, we've yeah, another developing news is that I think Mr. Femi, um, how do I call it? Uh, a I can't actually remember the name of the lawyer now. I think a very pronounced lawyer, of course, that we know. His name Femi Falana. Sorry about that. Mr. Femi Falana has actually, I think, has been employed to be his legal counsel as far as this case is concerned. So, what do we make of this case? I think in the next few days, he will be charged to court any time from now, maybe this week. He will be charged to court, and he will be charged for assault. Yes. So what do we have? I think this is the case of the Nigerian. So so he will be charged to court, and afterwards, judgment would be served. So, but for me, I don't see it as a really very big issue, because what will happen at the long run is that is either he gets a jail term, or an option for a certain payment or community service and what have you, and or maybe a kind of remuneration to the policeman which he has actually assaulted. So I think that is that about that. That is what we have. But so far so good. A lot of people have actually chased clothes and all of that. But what do we have? What do we see about the character of the man himself? Whether you are an activist, whoever it is that you are, it is a very wrong act to attack anybody, because somebody might have done something wrong to you, but at the same time, the law is there. It is only when you don't have a law that you will now come on board to start saying that you want to take laws into your hands. Seun Kuti has actually advocated for Africanization of Africa itself. So, which means Africa, in a nutshell, Africa should do things like Africans, and should stop doing things like the Europeans, which suggests that democracy is not our thing, and whatever it is that we are actually doing, that we are how do I call it? The kind of politics that we are mirroring in Africa and Nigeria, to be precise, shouldn't be the kind that we'll be engaging in. We should have our own kind of structure, which is Africanized and all of that. That is what I perceived from most of all these uh sorry about the network, is I can't actually get over it. So the so even if we have an Africanized Africa, whereby you have an African structure, a monarchy system of government, which is in African style, definitely would have security operatives who are actually doing their work the way they ought to do it, or according to the constitution that we are running here in Africa. It still doesn't mean, even if the police officer are not doing their job diligently, it still doesn't mean that they should be subjected to assault, just the way Mr. Seun Kuti has actually treated that police officer. That is very wrong. And he coming up with a point to say that this man has actually posed a threat to his family and himself. Yes, I think that's a point. And there's always a channel or an avenue to direct your complaints. There is always a channel to direct your complaints. You shouldn't come and start assaulting the man. And how serious is this threat? It could just be that the man is just carrying out his daily responsibilities. He's trying to be who he is. He's trying to do his job mainly, and you come on board and you start giving him slaps and all of that. Regardless of what you think, the man might actually be doing his job, but we still don't know until when they go to court. And just like he said, Shonkuti said he has evidences to prove that this man has actually assaulted him and assaulted his family. So let's all wait until when we have that judgment and we have the evidences that he has against these so-called police officers. Don't forget that there are also a lot of people who are actually doing the same thing, but do not get into the limelight, perhaps because it's Shinkuti and what do you have. So that is that on one side. There is also another side which I feel that the Nigerian police force would not take the case lightly with Shinkuti. Why? You look at it from the perspective that um since the NSAS protest, after the NSAS protest, you will notice some kind of reforms in the Nigerian police, such that one of which was the Nigerian police are not, it is not in their jurisdiction to check mobile phones of citizens. The Nigerian police force has already they spell that out outrightly. You are not supposed to go and check somebody's phone for any reason, what have you. So what do we have with that? They are also trying to protect the interest of an average Nigerian, of an average citizen. It may not also be a Nigerian, it could be a foreigner, but they are trying as much as possible to protect the interest of the people they are trying to safeguard. So, and we have seen so many police officers lost their job. We've seen some being demoted or deranked. Recently, we saw one on a live TV where the, I think was it the IGP that stripped him off his rank, a police officer off his rank, because he manhandled a civilian. So when you look at it from that perspective, the police will not also take it lightly with anybody. So if the Nigerian police have actually um, given that body signal, if they've actually given that body signal, they've actually tried. I'm not saying they are perfect with the reforms they've done so far, but at least they've showed a signal that yes, something like this could happen if we do if you suffer this from any of our officers. So when you look at it from that perspective, there has to be a kind of balance. There has to be a kind of balance. So that is where the Nigerian police force comes in the guise that they must also protect the interest of their officers. So that's it. The police officer might have actually done something wrong, but Mr. Shinkuti could have channeled his grievances through the right means. In fact, because he is a popular celebrity, because he is a known face, I think he would be given more attention. In fact, instead of constituting the nuisance. Yes, I call it nuisance that he did the other time. I think let's see how it goes. Somebody said because his father has actually is it's only the footprint of his father. Somebody said that recently, but that's not the footprint of Mr. Fela Kuti. That is not his footprint. He is a man that always come on board with reasonable arguments. And I don't think I've actually seen anywhere he assaulted a police officer or sort of. But I think he would dare not, because during his reigns it was the military era. So if you try and do that, somebody that the government is already trying, the government are looking for something to nail him, he would now go as far as assaulting a man in uniform. He dare not. So perhaps because it's democracy, and Mr. Mr. Seun also knows that he has some sort of ways to go about whatever it is he does. I'm not sure, but I think he's fearless, and because he feels, because I've watched one of his live where he said, "Do you know how many police officers I've actually slapped?" Yes, yes, I watched. I don't know if you have seen that clip, but he has actually made that comment. So he sees an average policeman, if he can actually make that statement, if he sees them as a minority. So, and yes, whether you like it or not, the average Nigerian police are actually doing their job. They are trying their bit to, as much as possible, make sure that they are keeping Nigerians safe. In quotes, they may not be doing it appropriately. Their efforts, their strides may not be enough, but at least we can still see some things that they are actually doing. And that is why, sorry about that. So if somebody tries to cheat us today, if somebody tries to take what does not belong to you, if somebody tries to wrong you, so somebody tries to trample on your rights, where is the first, who are the first person who are going to enforce that your rights are being secured? Of course, they are the police officers, regardless of whether they are good or not. If you are trying to like, so if somebody, you need a police report. Sorry about that. If you want to travel out, police report to certify that you are crime free. If you want to buy a car, you need a police report. So you cannot outrightly say we don't need police, and you cannot outrightly look at police as being useless. They are, of course, an integral part of our society. So yeah, because I know some people, once you, so I know what comes to the mind of anybody is that the police are this, the police are that. Forgetting, sorry about that. So we are going to run now, because just like I said, I'm going to make this very brief. I'm going to make this very short, because this is the first time you'll be seeing my face. This is the first time you'll be seeing a live broadcast from me, and this is not even all that detailed, because we do not have much information as regards the topic on ground. So let's wait as event unfolds, and we get to see another time. Bye. Do not forget, I'm pleading, do not forget, subscribe.